Bomba-dee-da, 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 bomba-dee-da,
Hey, all right. Happy trails, everybody.
bomba-dee-da,
Hey,
Welcome. Here we are in January,
happy
and
trails.
happy trails.
Happy trails.
Talked last time,
January 13th.
something like that.
I
I
think we're
think
the
so.
13th today. Lucky 13 for
It
the
is.
week of the third week in January coming at you. Excited. 2024 already off with a bang. Bang, she bang.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
You
And
remember that? You remember that
two
song?
blizzards.
Remember
Oh,
that?
bang. Yeah. Oh,
Remember
yeah.
that?
Yeah.
She bang.
Yeah. That
William
was.
Hung. You remember him?
Oh, that was a different one.
American Idol. She bang. She bang. Remember?
Yeah. Man.
anyway, we digress. So, hey,
We
folks,
digress.
Matt Bynum here from Greenville, South Carolina. Actually, today coming to you from Hotlanta, Buckhead, at the Hyatt Hotel. Wow.
Wow. Blaine McLaughlin coming from my basement. And wait
And
for
where's
it.
that located?
There's the proper settings.
And you're
I'm
in,
in Robbins, Iowa, the home of two blizzards this week.
yay.
Yeah, we got a
How
lot of
much snow?
snow.
How much snow do you get?
We probably got 16 inches or so. Yeah, a
Ouch.
couple different times. It was blowing pretty hard last night, so lots of drifts.
Ouch.
But that's what you get. You get. That's what you get. I don't. Everybody's like whining about it. I'm like, I choose to live in Iowa,
What
so
does that do?
you
What
got to
does
expect
whining
it.
do?
Yeah, it makes you want some cheese.
Well,
You, you need some cheese
if
with
you would
your
have
wine.
made some smart goals about living in places where there's no snow,
Or where you
then
can
that would
appreciate
have,
it, right? Yeah.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that's the
So
whole deal.
maybe we ought to do that.
You want to do some smart goals
We're going
today?
to talk about SMART goals today. We talked about we gave you
Smart.
some of our goals last week. And now we're
Yeah.
going to go over and goal setting is just I think it's vital to accomplishing things and headed and getting yourself headed in the right direction. And so we are going to and if you haven't heard of SMART goals, well, today's your day. So
Today
we're
is your
gonna
day.
we're gonna talk about what that means and why we do it and get you guys psyched up.
So smart goals are pretty simple. It's SMART is an acronym for the way that you should establish goals because it holds value to what you're writing down in purpose without just floating out a wish, or a dream. You know what I mean? A dream and a wish is very different than a goal because you've got to label the goal so it's attainable and you can get after it. So the acronym is SMART, SMART goals. And the S, Blaine, stands for
Specific?
specific.
Yes.
And specific means that the goal has to be specific. It cannot be,
Is that what it means?
it cannot be generic. So when we're talking about specifics, let me give you an example because people still, when they talk about specifics, are speaking generalities. So for instance, if I wanted to lose weight, I cannot say that my goal is to lose weight because what does that mean? 1 pound, half a pound, 40 pounds, 200
Yeah.
pounds? What is it?
Maybe you go pee and you're good.
Yeah, maybe maybe you go to the bathroom and you lose some weight. Hey, I'm good for the year. I
Yeah.
accomplished my goal. So that is what we mean by specific. Now, before we get into SMART goals too, I want to talk about something that this really stems from. It stems from the Harvard Business Study. You familiar with that, Blaine?
I know a lot of Harvard business studies.
So the Harvard Business Study is one of the coolest studies that's I've read before. So I'm going to read specifically for everybody out there because I think it's worth investing. So here it is. I'm going to read it to y'all, and let's see if I can skip to the quickness of this. Here we go. So this started in 1979, the Harvard Business Study. 1979 was set on goal setting, analyzed the graduating class of 1979, and determined how many had set goals and had a plan for their attainment of the goals. Interestingly enough, the results in 1979 study are exactly identical to the supposed 1953 Yale study, where goals were either written down, not written down, discussed, put out into the universe, not put out into the universe, whatever it is. So prior to graduation, it was determined that 84% of the entire class had set no goals at all. Okay.
None.
No goals, zero. 13% of the class had set written goals, but had no concrete plans. 3% of the class had both written goals and concrete plans to support the written goal. So let's fast forward into the results. So they came back 30 years later and they interviewed the same class, everyone in the class. Here's how it went. 13% of the class that had set written goals but had not created plans were making twice as much money as the 84% of the class that had set no goals at all. That's pretty crazy, right?
That's substantial. Not just a
Substantial.
little bit.
No,
right?
but I mean, obviously there's some merit to this, right?
Yeah. Yep.
However, here's the deal. The kicker is that the 3% of the class that had both written goals and a plan were making 10 times as much as the rest of the 97% put together.
That's more substantial.
10 times, I mean, 10 times as much as the 97% of the people in the entire class put together. Now, if people are questioning, is this real? Well, I don't know. I guess we can go back and you can say the studies are fake because you weren't there. I know that they've repeated the study and it yielded the same results. So, it all comes down to the basics of when you're gonna talk about goals. Everybody seems to point in the direction of you need to write your goals down, just plain and simple. And if you haven't written your goals down, then you need to take some time and do this. Now, myself, I've done this time and time again throughout my life, over and over and over. And if I don't achieve the goal, then I get frustrated. And you got to remember, I think one of the things that we have to remember is that we're working on someone else's time here. We think it's about our time, but really this is God's time that's making the plans. I always say you want to get a good laugh, tell God what you're going to do. Right.
Yeah.
So I think all in all, we still need to put out into the universe and throw that up that we have goals ourselves. This is what we want to accomplish, because if you don't ask, you'll never get it. So I think we need to do these things. It is frustrating when you don't hit the goal and you start to wonder, why am I doing this? But obviously if come on in. Obviously if housekeeping's there. So, but we're good.
Oh, yeah,
we're good. So obviously though, if they're writing it down, they're accomplishing the goals, then 10 times the amount of money is 97%. Man, I don't know. Maybe I got to jump on that train.
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
That is cool. I love hearing that study because
I've never heard that, Matt. I'm glad you brought that up.
It always brings to mind the reality of why we do it. It's not just because, the gurus in the world say you should write your goals down. I've always wondered that.
The gurus say you should write your goals down probably because of stuff like that. I mean, they've seen it over and over and over again.
Right.
And how effective it is and, powerful. So
SMART goals, let's go back to it. So we got specific, and that means not generic, right? That means specific.
Yep. It's got to be like an observable action, something that you can actually, you can see it, nothing vague, nothing like I want to lose weight.
Which leads us into the M part of our SMART goals, which is
measurable. So
again, if we're going to lose weight, how much weight do we want to lose? I think Blaine brought up a great point last week that I took and I put down in my SMART goals is I want to cold plunge 300 times this year. That leaves me, I love that because it leaves me 65 days of which I may be traveling and can't. So I'm in Atlanta. I don't have a cold plunge, but I did a cold shower yesterday for about 3 minutes. That sucked. It sucked. It's different than getting in a cold tub. You know what I mean?
It is. I do that once in a while, just cold. And I think of you, Matt. I think of you.
Thank you. There's something, I don't know. There's just something about a shower. It doesn't hit the same way, but at the same time, it's just as terrible. You know what I mean? I don't know,
Take your
but
breath
still,
away.
but I did it. So at least I'm trying to adhere to the measure of what I'm
Yeah.
doing with the goals.
Yeah.
So,
You got to be able to measure it so you know if you've achieved it, right?
yep.
Like, so that's why that's so key is measuring it so you can obtain things and make sure you're again headed in the right direction.
Specific, measurable. The A stands for achievable or attainable. I interchange two words. And that's that gets a little bit ambiguous to a lot of people, but here's the reality is I'm not going to set a goal that I'm going to play in the NFL, right? I'm 56
Right.
years old. I'm not playing in the NFL. The NFL doesn't want, I don't care how fast or how strong I got. There's always somebody that's a lot stronger and faster, and they're younger. So,
A little bit,
an achievable goal of me going into
Even
the
Tom Brady's
NFL,
younger.
right? Me getting into the NFL, that's not an achievable goal. So if that's what I'm writing down, then I'm an idiot. So that's why it's specific, measurable, achievable, or attainable. That's really important. The R stands for.
Wait.
Oh, go ahead.
So on the achievable part, I
Yeah.
just kind of want to add this in. If you're making something, you want to make sure it's achievable. You got to make sure you have the resources in order to get there. So again, 2 years ago, somebody said you want to be a GP in a multifamily housing area. I'd be like, sure, but I hadn't studied anything. I didn't know anything. And so now that I've surrounded myself with like-minded people, I've gone through training with the Brad Sumrock group and listen to podcasts and stuff. I've surrounded myself with those resources that are needed in order to achieve something. So
Right.
make sure you have that in place as well.
So you're setting yourself up for the greatest opportunity, right?
Yeah. Yep.
In order to win, you have to put yourself in the position of the greatest opportunity, not the least opportunity. So you want to run with the big dogs, and you got to be around the big dogs. That's just
right.
That's simply what it is.
And you got to listen to our podcast.
Well, that's the number one thing I believe that anybody that wants to advance in multifamily or really, I think in life, I think if you want to advance in life,
I mean,
then
today's episode is all about life.
It's about life.
Yeah.
Specific, not generic, specific.
Right.
And that means to the point.
You got it.
I believe. So we've got specific, we've got measurable, we've got attainable or achievable, and we've got relevant or realistic. Same type of situation as the attainable, achievable. And the realistic or relevant part is simply means that whatever this goal is that you're setting has to be in alignment with your objectives and where you're going, what you're doing, your core values and beliefs. You can't set a goal that strays away from conventional wisdom that takes you away from who you are at your core, because you'll never go there. So that doesn't make sense. So it has to be relevant to you, it has to be relevant to the goal itself and to your values and objectives. Blaine, you got anything on that?
Yeah, I mean, make sure it's relevant to today as well. I mean, what maybe it would be relevant a few years ago is you're different today. So these things are all going to change year by year. And in the multifamily world, the market's changed over the last 2 years. And so what was relevant a couple of years ago, isn't right today. So again, keep in mind these things, we set these goals, but there's always a little bit of change going on, and they can be a little different from year to year, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Especially as your vision grows.
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with a goal that's changing, because it shows growth. And that's one of the biggest things that we talk about in Happy Trails is you got to have an open mind. You got to be poised for growth.
Yep.
So, last thing is the T in SMART goals, and that is for timely or timed. And just very candidly, you have to come into the goal setting with a time frame in mind. It can't be open-ended. Again, through all the realistic, attainable, achievable, SMART, all get down to this point, you have to have a time frame. So when is my goal of losing weight? Well, I want to lose weight by the end of the year. Okay, so that gives you 365 days to lose weight. Is that enough? I want to lose 30 pounds by July 1st, 2024. That is specific and that is timed. So that's how you would be setting your goals in general.
Yep. It's measurable.
measurable all the way
Achievable.
through.
Yeah.
So I love the fact you talked about becoming a GP, because so many people that are moving in this world, in the Sumrock community and the real estate community are, that's the fast track. That's what most people are wanting to do, is they want to move into a capacity where they move out of being a passive investor and they move into being an active investor, and one that's kind of controlling the deal itself. So with that comes education, with that comes knowledge, and that means you got to surround yourself with the right people. You've got to listen to the right podcasts. You got to read the right books. You got to do a lot of things. You have to keep track of your hours that you're putting into this. That's something that Blaine are doing this year, because this year we're shooting for professional real estate status, and the time that we spend on this podcast, which is inordinate. And
Yeah.
it's a
Hours
lot,
and hours.
hours a week. And then through our other real estate ventures, we got to keep track of those hours, because for us to gain that kind of status, we have to be 51% of our time doing real estate and not dentistry. So that's really the crux to where we're headed for the benefit. And I think we're on our way, man. I don't know about you, but January I've focused quite a bit. I'm sure you have too. So it definitely is taking time and attention to get us to where we want to be, for sure. But how about you, Bal? What's your main smart goal, Blaine?
Well, I mean, again, what part of my life are you talking?
Well,
You know,
let's
we're-
go.
if-
What's your personal life? What's your main goal?
that usually, oddly enough, that usually takes a back seat to things. Maybe, I mean, I'm always looking at my professional goals. Um, that's always kind of first line for me, and then the personal ones sit in the background. So haven't really thought of a personal goal. I've been working with my other dentist Megan on goals for our dental office and how to achieve those, and just found out that she's pregnant and gonna have a baby.
Oh,
So hey, congratulations
throw
to
that
Dr. Megan.
throw that
And
wrench in the
right,
cog.
right. And if you don't know who that is, go back about 10, 15 episodes and
Yeah.
we interviewed Dr. Megan. So
Yes, we did.
you can learn a lot from her. But so yeah, that throws things off a bit, right? And so that makes things a little more difficult. We still got us time bound because it's in the year. It's just how achievable are some things if if she's out of the office a lot,
Yeah.
and so that and finding employees to work. You mentioned last week, hygienists you need. We're looking for an assistant, have been for 3 months. And I know other offices that have been looking for dental assistants for 6, 8, 9 months, and they just aren't around. So sometimes you're limited by that too. So I mean, these aren't always easy, and it's not like you sit down for 10 minutes and you're like, okay, here's my goal. I want to reach this amount. I want to do this and this and this, and then bam, you're done. I mean, there's a lot of things that are involved in setting those. Personally, I plan on. I mean, and this is kind of a goal every year, but I always do triathlons. I'm always doing a couple triathlons a year. So, if you're talking about health wise, I want to stay in shape enough that I can do that. I got my bike trainer down in my basement. So when we have 16 inches of snow outside and blizzard warnings, I can still go biking, and that's
Yeah.
cool.
My goal is when there's 16 inches of snow, I just start drinking.
Well, that's another thought. That's another
It's
plan.
just a polar, it's just one other side of the spectrum.
One so one side, the other side of the same coin.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
the side. It's the edge of the coin, actually.
The edge
edge.
of the coin. And so, I had some Achilles issues last 4 or 5 months, and I'm working on trying to get them healthy, because running is not any fun for me. And so that sucks. But
does anyone like running? I guess there's people that
there's
do.
a few people I think that do.
I think they're crazy.
Maybe.
They're crazy.
I don't know. You freaking tried to do you did an Ironman, or
I've done some crazy
attempted,
stuff. I've done some crazy stuff, but
so you know what it's like. It's just, but so that always keeps me physically, fitness wise. That's always a goal I have, is to do at least 1 or 2 triathlons a year. Usually one in the spring, one in the fall. It keeps me pushing. myself and, you know, the other goals are to, see, one of the reasons I'm in real estate is so I can free up some time so I can see the world
Oh, good for you, dude.
and expand my experiences in life. And so we have a trip to Spain coming up in a couple months. So that'll be awesome. We're hanging out in Barcelona. I'm going to do another hike with my brothers later this fall, somewhere out in the mountains. And, I love being around nature and that kind of thing. So got to get some more things planned in there with my wife, Christine, and we'll see what happens. I'm sure somewhere along the line, Matt will go, "Hey, you want to do this?"
Yeah,
Because he always has shit going on. You guys know that.
let's do it.
He's never home.
I
So
know. Well, here I am. I'm in the ATL.
here you
Hey,
are.
you're going to be in Barcelona.
Yeah.
I think when you have to say Barth, you have to say it with a lift,
Barcelona,
like
because
like a
it's
th.
Caesar pronounces th. I'm
Th.
learning that and I'm
Barcelona.
learning that as I study Babel in my
Barcelona.
Spanish. Yeah. I'm like, they sound like they are lisping all the time. And I didn't know if that was real or if that was just this one lady that was talking. I don't think it's that way in like Mexico because they talked about Latin America and Spanish,
Only in certain
but
parts of
they
Mexico.
talking about Spain is a little different. I'm like, okay,
Spain. It's Spain. In
And
particular, Barcelona, Spain.
all right.
Anyway,
Well, we know about your personal goals or your fitness goals.
yeah.
Matt.
Hey, the main is we just got to get this fat off my body. So, my specific goal is I want to hit by the end of the year. I want to hit 225.
225.
225. And right now, currently, I'm probably about 275. So
Wow.
I got 50 pounds. And
Okay.
so I've been maintaining
That's
my cold plunge, and that is
that's a,
specific, and that is timed, and that is
yeah.
measurable. It's going to take some work, but this is the year I'm really going to put in the work because, like you, Blaine, I've finally come to the realization that I get disgruntled when I don't make a goal, and it just turned. My life's busy, and I have all these excuses,
Oh
and
yeah.
everybody they say about excuses, right? Everybody has one. So and the whole deal is pretty simple. That my interference of being gone and traveling has always been like I don't have time,
Can't get
and
consistent, man.
I get home in
Yeah.
a day, and I get home, it's, let's say it's 5:30, and it's like, are you ready to go eat dinner? So now we're eating dinner at 6 or 6:15, and then what's my evening look like other than falling asleep because I'm so wiped out. But you know what I realize is I've got 30 minutes somewhere. I don't have to go work out for an hour. I can go 30
Right.
minutes, go hard, get the pump I need to get in. And I've been fairly consistent the last 2, 3 weeks. I mean, you can see a little bit of my shoulders coming back in, and which is good. So the more I lift, the more that things start to happen for me. But that's on the physical side. On the the familial side, just like you, I'm going to spend more time with my family, and my boys are kind of scattered now. Luke's in dental school
Yeah.
in Charleston. Matthew's in Florida. John's at Clemson. I got my parents out in Arizona, and my brother in Texas. I mean, I took a trip to see my folks last year. You guys remember that? We did the podcast from their living room,
Yeah.
and that's the first time I saw my
I
folks
remember the
since,
China.
yeah, since COVID. That's the first time I see them since COVID.
Wow.
So that was a long time. So it's I want to get down, and Ann and I want to do some traveling, but at the same time, professionally, we're doing some very cool things with lecturing and speaking again. And that was something I used to do a long time ago. I did a lot of.
Did
I don't plan
did a
on doing
lot.
that
Lot.
much, but I plan on doing some, and teaching my friends some other ways that might support productivity, and be able to do more things that would allow them to maybe do some more investments with the multifamily. And that's kind of the direction that I'm going in regards to the multifamily world. I want to be a GP. I don't have a specific date on that. I'm a co-GP on one deal, but I'm kind of moving in a slightly different circle, like we talked about. Some of this land development's become
Mhm.
something that is been thrown on our plate, and we put an ad in, or an offer in. I don't think I told you this. put an offer in a week ago on a piece of property for Ann's satellite office. And
Nice.
2 days later, they took the offer.
They did. I didn't
yeah.
know that. They didn't say that.
So they took the offer. So it's a 2.8 acre
2.8
spot,
acre.
2.8 acres. So we're talking about putting a 3 to 5 unit strip, of which
Yep.
Ann will control one end. We're looking for maybe urgent care or pediatrician as the other two, and then maybe some 2 fillers, like maybe a coffee shop or something like that.
Chipotle, baby. Chipotle. Although Chipotle wouldn't be, although you wouldn't be there, I was gonna say that wouldn't help your goal.
Well, you
of
could. You
losing
could
weight.
get the grilled chicken.
Or I think they have what's the meatless chorizo?
No.
Chorizo?
Well, chorizo is actually a Mexican sausage, but they
Oh.
probably call it chorizo.
Or maybe they call it chorizo.
Is it from Spain?
Spain.
Chorizo.
Chorizo.
Hey, chorizo. That sounds terrible. It's chorizo. Anyway.
Shoot.
Anyway, you don't want that's chorizo. We don't want that. We don't do I don't do that fake meat stuff,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those are some basic things for us that we're putting together. And probably one of the most important goals is for us to grow our podcast and to meet more like-minded people so that we can have an influence on you that are listening and watching and your families. We want to have an impact on you, and we want you to kind of avoid the pitfalls that we have up until this point. And we want to help generate some wealth for you guys, because this is what it's all about. And the more people we can share this with, the more people we're going to help accomplish goals for themselves. And had a cool thing just downstairs, just 30 minutes ago. A guy came up to me, and he used to be a general dentist, and he knew me back when I was speaking a long time ago. And the last time I saw him was about a year and a half ago. We shared some conversation about multifamily real estate and kind of the state of where it's at. And he was getting ready to possibly sell some of his practice or all of it to a DSO. Well, guess what he did based on the conversation that we had? Went down to the coast of South Carolina. He's from Texas. And he bought 4 rent-to-own houses, short-term rentals, and with the money. So he has 4 short-term rentals based on conversation that we've had that's generating passive income that he collects. And he said, either one of these houses I could move into any day, because I bought them based on when I live here. And I thought that was pretty cool, because he wouldn't have, he said, I probably wouldn't have gone down the road had we not had that conversation. So again, maybe it's about impacting lives the way that we do, just in casual conversation with the things that we're learning, Blaine.
Yeah. You don't know, do you?
I mean, maybe the people we met. I mean, look at Javi that we interviewed from your area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How's he doing, by the way?
Good. They just had their baby.
Oh,
about 3 weeks ago. Arlo is the little boy, and so he's sending pictures all the time, and cute little guy.
That's cool.
So yeah, no, that's going well. Obviously, he's I think he's kind of in a slow time because he does some remodel, construction and stuff like that. Some of it's outside rehabbing houses, and so obviously inside you can still work, but I think he's created a situation where he has the freedom to kind of work when he wants, and so he can spend some time with his little boy and wife now, and I think that's great. I think it's cool. So
this time will fly, right?
Time will fly.
Goes faster than you think it is. Don't blink. That's what the song says. Don't blink.
Yeah.
But man, let me tell you something. It's been 56 years, 30 years, almost 30 years in dentistry. And man, let me tell you, I feel like maybe, I've been doing this stuff for maybe a couple, 12 years. And then there's days I feel like I've been doing it for 80 years. You know what I mean? But,
yeah. And you can collect, I was looking up Social Security. You can collect Social Security at 62, dude. That's 6 years for you, in 6 years for you.
Sweet.
Can you believe that?
I'll get a check. It'll be like $3.12.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, my windfall.
Half a cup of coffee or
my windfall's coming. My windfall is coming.
All right, boys. Thank you much for joining us on your SMART goals. And
SMART goals.
Hey, get them down. Get them down.
Share them with us. That's a good thing. Hey, do us a favor. if you're watching, you're listening, share this episode, share our podcast, but write us and share your SMART goals with us so we can share it with everybody else. What a great way to hold yourself accountable is send it to
Oh yeah.
the Happy Trails guys, right? Let's
know
make
it.
some magic happen.
Right on, right on.
Hey, with that, happy trails. Let's get back to the blizzard. Who's got your money?
Who's got your snow blower?
Who's got your blower?
Peace,
Peace, people.
You guys next week.
Happy trails.